Hello everyone and welcome. What was this? In today's video we are getting back into the series of what are the most commonly asked piercing questions on the internet. That is a long sentence, it's very difficult for me to say. I'm going to be answering questions based around why piercings should be allowed in schools and the workplace and maybe why they currently aren't. So the first why question we have is why piercings are bad. So this one is kind of hard to answer because obviously myself and most people watching, we don't see them as bad. We have them, we love them, so they're not bad. But I think kind of what the question is implying is the fact that they're seen as bad and they're seen as you can't have them for this. You can't wear them to work, you can't wear them to school. And by having them banned in workplaces, it kind of gives off the impression to people that they are bad. It must be a bad thing. Something that's banned is bad. Now, I get it in some workplaces. For instance, if you're working in food, there's health and safety precautions that come into the fact that you can't wear piercings because they don't want a piercing ball falling off and landing in someone's food, someone then getting the food, them eating it and I don't know, choking and I don't know how you choke on a piercing ball, but choking and then maybe suing the company. I get that. I fully get that around health and safety practices in hospitality. That's the main place I see it being important. I get why that is in place. It's so that companies don't get sued for jewelry falling into someone's food and them getting sick or injuring their esophagus. That's why they're bad in that sense, but the sense of it being bad as getting judged, people are oh no, piercings are bad, judging you for that. I think it's just a stigma from maybe a long time ago. I could be wrong, but I'm just assuming around maybe the punk era, when people were getting piercings and they were trashing shit, breaking into places, and just anarchy was alive and well. It was associated with that kind of lifestyle. That's the way I see it, is that's why people judge piercings, and that stigma has just continued on throughout the years, even though every second person has a nose piercing now. There's middle-aged women living in the middle of suburbia in white picket fence houses with a nose piercing. Do you really think she is causing anarchy in the UK? I don't think so. I mean, she might be. It's a side gig. It comes from that, but it's just it's so mainstream now that it's get over it. They're not bad anymore, it's fine. Just come to terms with it. It's all fucking good. The next question sort of leads on from that, why piercings should be allowed in the workplace. So I explained why they shouldn't be in some workplaces, but that is also kind of the answer of why they should be allowed. So another reason why they probably shouldn't, I'm just gonna go to the shouldn'ts as to why they should. Another reason why it shouldn't for your safety is if your piercing's going to get caught on something and then tear out in something that you're doing, something in your workplace. I know in things like gymnastics. When I was younger, I did trampolining and I couldn't wear my ear piercings, but it makes sense because they could have got caught on a little bit of fiber sticking out of the squishy floor thing. I get that. And then you could have been doing a tumble or something and it could have ripped out. Some people are gymnasts, okay? So gymnasts, I assume, definitely can't wear piercings for that reason. But there are so many jobs out there where your piercings could cause a danger to you. So they could get ripped out because of the, I don't know, machinery or something that you're working with, it could pull them out. So I get it in that sense. That's for your safety. That's nothing to do with them judging the way you look. It is completely a safety thing because then I guess it comes back to people then suing because they're well, you didn't say I couldn't wear it, so I wore it and look what's happened, my ears ripped off. In those cases, obviously complete sense, but outside of that, there is no reason why piercings shouldn't be allowed in the workplace. People might bring up the point that it doesn't look professional. I mean, I get it from both sides. It really, it's so hard because it really depends what kind of work you're going into. To be honest, I think it comes down to how you present yourself in general though. If you've got piercings that are infected and red and inflamed, that's gonna look pretty dog shit for the company. I get that for that reason as well, but outside of that, there shouldn't really be any reason other than if there is a very strict uniform policy in the sense that the uniform is super neat and this is how we all look. We are all robots. That's where I feel it would also be really hard to convince these people. I'm not saying that I agree with these rules that companies have in place, but like we're still not quite at a time where it's like come around to like, yep, cool, you can wear whatever the hell you want, look however the hell you want, which sucks, but I can't change the world, unfortunately. So as to why they shouldn't be allowed in the workplace, literally just health and safety reasons only. And from looking at it at just purely a presentation point of view, I think as long as your piercings look healthy and clean, there should be no problem. Why piercings should be allowed in school. I think this one comes down to schools trying to have everyone be equal. So for instance, some kids might be able to afford piercings and other kids can't, and that might make them feel less of themselves, which to be honest does make sense. They want everyone to feel included and everyone to just like look the same as possible, so no one is necessarily like going to get left out from things or bullied for certain, do you know what I mean? Like if everyone's base level, we'll try and alleviate as much conflict as possible, I suppose. I think that's something really important to look at as well, is that like some kids and some kids' families can't afford these things while other kids can. And maybe this kid really, really wants it, but they know they can never have it because they're family and they can't afford it. It's not fair in that sense. Like keeping everyone at base level the same, then everyone can feel as included and as equal as possible. Even though that's not how schools work. I get that schools aren't like, we all look the same, so we're all equal, yay! Like it's definitely not like that. But like I know quite a few people who are teachers and that's kind of how they explain it, is that it's like everyone's kind of got to be the same because it's not fair, because some people will have advantages in life. Like for instance, kids already have like, I don't know, better backpacks or better phones than some kids who like maybe don't have a backpack or don't have a phone. The schools can't change anything about a backpack or a phone, but the things that they can control, I think they try to control those for the sake of trying to make everyone feel included and equal, which I do agree with to some extent, because I would want everyone to feel equal and included. I mean, I don't love that it means that kids can't express themselves, because I mean, I was getting piercings in school and I definitely wasn't allowed them. And there were other kids who were like, oh, I really like to get that. I know I'm just contradicting myself here. I'm like, nah, fuck the other kids, I'm getting one. But I was literally going and getting the cheapest piercings of all time. So it's not like I was flaunting my bouginess to anyone. I was literally getting like $10, $20 piercings. I was genuinely the type of person who would rather get a piercing than have like a good phone. I honestly have never given a shit about phones at all, but like in high school, I would just get like whoever was getting rid of their phone, they'd just give it to me. And I would then spend my money on piercings. And I guess people feel this way around makeup as well. You'll see people get really upset about makeup not being allowed to be worn in school. I get it, you want to wear makeup, just like people want to have piercings as well. And it just comes down to everyone being at the same level, because if someone's got a full face of makeup, they're gonna look glamorous and gorgeous, while I'm coming to school with a fucking full face of acne, just showing the world all of my pus. For anyone who's angry about the makeup, we couldn't have piercings. And I couldn't have fucking nail polish either. But I mean, I understand it now. I looked way too cool with my piercings and my nail polish, and I wasn't allowed to have it because I was just exceeding the level of coolness of everyone in my fucking school. Ain't nobody could handle that. Just like my friend who would wear like thick caked, like she looked beautiful. She wore like bright colored eyeshadow every single day and she'd take it off like every single day. It made her feel like her and she loved it. But it's just like, now I don't really see it as a thing of like them trying to suppress our personality and our expression. It was more so like, let's just all be equal, wear that shit on the weekends, and you can be as vibrant and as extra as you want on the weekends. But like when we're at school, everyone be playing, which like, yeah, it sucks, but like it does make sense. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like down below and let me know if you agreed with some of the things I said, or if you disagreed, let me know as well. Would love to hear. And I will be back very soon.